Hey guys, so today I wanted to show you some ideas for using the flat 5 note in some more creative ways. Most of us, after we've learnt the minor pentatonic scale, we then chuck the flat 5 in there to make it a blues scale. And, a lot of us, when we do that, we don't really treat that note any different to the other notes in the scale. We just sort of land on it in the same way and, pass through it in descending or ascending passages, maybe something like this, like. Now, if you sort of don't break out of that approach, that can start sounding a bit amateur. You might take the next step and go into sort of bending into it, like. All right, now that starts sounding a bit better, but there's all these other ways you can use the flat 5, so that's what we're going to get into today. So let's stay in the same key, the key of A minor, but let's go down to A minor open chord, right? Now that chord is built root, 5th, octave, minor 3rd. They're the scale degrees. Now, we just outlined where the 5th was, so now we know where the flat 5th is, right? So it's always going to be just 1 fret down from the 5th. So that's going to be here. Now, when we were up here with the scale, and I was showing you the little bend, talking about bending into it, we're bending into it from the 4th. Now, when we're down here, the 4th is going to be the open D string. And, unless we're doing behind the nut bend sort of stuff, we can't really bend into from the open string to the 1st fret. But what we can do is do a little trill. Okay, so hammer on, pull off. And then that can resolve nicely to the minor 3rd. So that would be the 3rd fret on the A string. So you have. Now that's a pretty cool lick, but what makes it even better is if you have that lick, but then you have a note held at a higher pitch. So let's hold down the octave that I just talked about before, so the 2nd fret of the G string, and then we'll play that lick again, but just holding that extra note down. So. So that works really nicely, if you're playing an A minor, right? Cool. Now let's see what else we can do with that idea. So if we take it up the octave, so I'm actually going to start on this A now. So A, that would be the root, 5th, octave. Okay. So now we know where the 5th is here. Take it down 1 fret for the flat 5. And then 1 more fret below that is the 4th, so that's where we're starting our trill from. And then resolving on that minor 3rd. Now, we can do the same thing up here, keeping that high octave held down while we play that. Okay, sounds really cool. It's like, a bit of a R&B, George Benson-y blues kind of lick. And all this stuff kind of, feels to me like you're kind of rolling around, with a pig in the mud. So let's see what else we can do with it. So we were playing in A minor. Why don't we transpose it to a different key, so a different chord shape? So let's play in D minor now. So we have root, 5th, octave, minor 3rd. So we know where the 5th is. Down to the flat 5. So trill from the 4th. So as in the scale degree, the 4th to the flat 5. So that's going to be open G to the first fret. Minor third is on the third fret of the D. Cool. That sounds great as well. Now let's go to another minor open shape, the E minor. Now you can do that in that really low, low down here in this low octave. It starts getting a little bit low. It gets a bit muddy. So what we can do instead, if we go, we can go start from this E, this root note, go to that 5, that B, go down 1 fret, flat 5th, another fret, the 4th. Now, just for a bit of variety, something else you can do, instead of doing the trill, why don't we do a little grace note slide? So we'll slide up and back. And then, we might do another little variation to resolve it. So we're sliding up and back from 2 to 3, pulling off to the open G, and then landing on a root note, right? So, and you can keep the high octave in there as well by the high E string, right? So you have cool. So that's I just wanted to, open you up to some different approaches using that flat 5. You don't just have to use it sort of in that one generic kind of way. There's lots of other places and, stylistically things you can do with it. I think in the intro, and there's also, we were talking about trills, some slides, also some bends you can do, I won't go too far into it, but just that intro I think I did this. So bending up from the flat 5 to the 5 now. Cool. All right. We'll leave it there, but I just want to say thanks for all the new subscribers who have jumped on board. I've seen that subscriber count, ticking up pretty fast. So that's awesome. It's great to have that support. So we'll keep it going, and I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Thanks.